Now I'm going to saturate that hair. I want to wet it down so I can have control. I'm going to go in with my shear over comb. So I want to part it off and I want to really look at that growth pattern. Make sure that you wet down all the hair. Hair tends to dry pretty quick, so you want to make sure it's pretty saturated. I'm going to part it off. And again, this is a heavier crop style. I'm going to use my 7.5 inch. That way I can cover a lot of area pretty quickly and I have consistency. This is a controlled shear over comb technique. I'm going to work from that right hand side and I'm going to work my way back. You see how the hair is growing down on a diagonal? I got to take that in consideration. So I'm going to come against that on a diagonal back. Lock that hair into the spine of the comb. Then you cut. Lift, lock it back down. As you work your way up the head shape, the hair kind of pushes, so you got to constantly brace that hair back down into the comb. This is a controlled shear over comb technique. That's what makes this technique so unique, is traditionally you're taught to move very quickly, but you slow down when you have that control. When you lock that hair in, you're more accurate. You're not floating all over the place. You can see your guide, you're elevating, you're bracing, and you have total control as you work that section. Just like if you were to take a section of hair with a blow dryer, the nozzle of that blow dryer and that brush, you manipulate the hair. It's the same thing with the comb and the shear. I lift it up and then I lock it back down. I float out. I check my work. Do you see how that looks? It takes a little bit of practice, but I promise you, you'll be very successful because you're not going to be all over the place. You're positioning that hair into the spine of the comb and you're cutting your section. Nice clean line, no stairway to heaven. You're not putting in steps. You notice where you left off where it's darker? You bring that comb in and you start to blend. You're tailoring this haircut. You're working on the exterior. That way you can create the ideal head shape and leave it longer and darker in certain areas. You know, a lot of guys have a flat back of their head. They didn't have enough tummy time when they were babies.